Can you hear me now? Are you guys able to hear me? Anyone? Okay. All right. Sorry about that. I don't know why sometimes it flips my microphone into another microphone feature that I have. Hi, Billy. How are you? I know you've been having a rough couple days and everything, but don't worry. You have great support. Um, we will always make sure that, as families and stuff, I always want to make sure that you guys don't feel alone. But I also want to make sure that if you guys are getting any type of harassment or people saying cruel things, let me know or whatever, and let me see if there's something that I can do to help render that, because you guys are going through enough emotionally and everything with missing your loved one. And Billy, you and I had yeah, I know you're hanging on. You and I had kind of discussed this about how people are really cruel, and people want you guys to stop talking about your cases, and they're tired of hearing about the cases. But one thing I'll tell you, we're not going to stop talking about these cases until we are able to bring your loved ones home. So hang in there. Um, you know that you guys can always reach out and contact me, even if it's just a vent about what's going on, or if you guys are having problems with people um, saying hateful and cruel things, and how you guys just need to um, move on with your lives or whatever. I mean, I've heard just about any awful thing you can imagine. So, hang in there. You guys have prayers. You have total support from me and the other advocates that I work with. And we're here for you, and we're not going to stop sharing your cases. So, hang tough in there. I know it's hard some days to do that, but again, if you have people that are making those comments and stuff, especially if it's on missing persons alerts, if it's on Guardian, even if it's on your personal page, I don't care. If wherever you see it, if you are having issues and problems and people are saying that stuff, please let me know, or contact the administrator of those pages and let them know so they can remove those comments and stuff, which they should. I've been super busy with my regular job and everything, but that right now is not going to be an issue for me to move forward with cases and stuff like that. So I've had some different opportunities that have come up, and hopefully I'll be able to. I'm sorry, my dogs are barking. Hang on. Sorry. Someone is either downstairs or something that they're not liking. Let me get rid of them real quick. One moment. I apologize, guys. I'm sorry. Someone obviously is like here. So, yeah, they've been quiet all day until I get on my podcast. All right. I agree, Lisa. We're not going to stop looking for your daughter and get her home. But okay. So now that I can catch my breath a little bit, let's go ahead and start on some cases. We, of course, have some new cases to show you, and we will be showing you some cases I have showed in the past, but I've updated, and then some of our regular cases. So this case was brought to me by someone that I know, and I really hope we could get him located soon. This is Jared Cornell Pate. He's missing out of Denton, Texas on November 19th, 2023. He is 55 years old, 5'7", 180 to 190 pounds. He has gray hair and brown eyes. He his hair is gray, but he normally will have his hair shaved. He does wear glasses and he does have that goatee. The most recent picture is that one down at the bottom where he has his glasses on and no hat. That is the most recent picture of him. It's probably taken, I believe, I was told a couple, 2 or 3 days before he went missing. And that's actually a picture of when he was in the hospital. And as you can see, he's wearing those silver chains. He always wears them. He never takes them off. He does wear a gold ring on his middle finger. Jared has the name Shirley on his chest and an unknown initials on his arm. He left the Denton Medical City Hospital in Denton, Texas around 6 p.m. He last spoke to a close friend around 3 p.m. and said he wasn't feeling well and he was going to lay down. He had recently had major brain surgery, and his medical condition impairs his cognitive abilities, memory. His speech is really slow, and he just started walking, so he really has a hard time walking. The hospital did not notify the next of kin or the power of attorney that he had left and that he had supposed to be admitted into a rehab facility in the next day or few days. He may still have the staples in his head or a scar from where they were. He could be wearing a sweatsuit, possibly gray in color. He was wearing a blue Dallas Cowboys hat that has the Dallas Cowboys star on it and black and gray shoes. He does have a cream colored tote that says laundry on it. Jared was working with a trucking company down in Texas, but he is actually from Missouri. So he could be still in the Denton, Texas or Texas area, or he could be traveling. Our major concern with him is his cognitive ability. So he doesn't have, it's hard. Like if you would come across him, it may take him a while to respond to you. He could have some confusion going on. I believe the last time he did talk to his close friend, he wasn't really remembering a lot of stuff like, the company that he worked for and stuff like that. So if you have any information regarding Jared's disappearance or his whereabouts, please call 911 or the Denton, Texas Police Department at 940-349-8181 or Misty at 913-343-733. And as you guys know, normally I would not put an individual's number on there, but Missy is an advocate, and so she is one of the lead contacts on his case to get him located. There was possibly someone thought after I had gotten the flyer out that they had seen the flyer and they thought that they had seen him at the Dairy Queen in that area. But as far as I know, from the update that I got from Misty, that he still has not been located. So I don't have confirmation if that was really him or not, but he's still out there. And like we said, we're really worried because he just had surgery and he was in an induced coma. And I believe they took him out of that induced coma within a couple days of him going missing. So he's very a critical missing individual. I'm not for sure who said hi to me, but hi, hope things are going well. So that is something, if you guys can really get that flyer out, we have posted him everywhere. So it was nice to hear that, a flyer went out and someone thought that they had recognized him, but I haven't heard if that has been confirmed or not. This next case I have shared before, but I do want to share it again. I feel like he hasn't got a lot of coverage. I know he was on Disappeared, which I think is great. I think that if you guys can get cases on Dateline or Disappeared, those are good things. But I will tell you, sometimes it takes time with the filming and everything. But It does appear that like Dateline has been doing a lot and stuff. And I know that the new season has come out with Disappeared as well. So this is Christopher James Hoy. He is missing out of Dixon, Missouri on May 19th, 2022. He disappeared. He was 33 and he is now 34, 5'6", 180 pounds, brown hair, and hazel eyes. He does have shaggy brown hair that was around 3 to 5 inches long and thinning in spots. He does have a high forehead. He has a thick brown full beard and mustache and hazel eyes. He does wear glasses that have thick lenses. He does have a lower teeth retainer, and he has a scar above his left eyebrow, a scar on his right knee, and scars on both of his forearms, hands, and knuckles. He does go by the name Chris. He was last seen leaving his home, driving his truck. He was wearing dark blue or gray or black gym shorts, a light colored t-shirt, black ball cap, black sneakers, and white calf link socks. He did not have his black wedding ring on as well, but he did leave behind his wallet and his cell phone. Chris's truck was later found by the Gasconade River, not far from his home. There have been searches in that area. However, he has not been located. There have been reports that he was seen twice in Lebanon and once in Physis. Both are in Missouri. However, these have never been confirmed that it was actually him. If you have any information regarding Chris's disappearance or you know his whereabouts, please call the Pulaski County, Missouri Sheriff's Department at 573-774-4701. With his case, there is some concern that there was some foul play in his case. He had a disagreement with people coming on his property, and there were some threats. That, however, is not confirmed that is why he is missing, but there has been some concern for his safety and well-being. So if you guys can share his flyer out there, I know that his family would greatly appreciate it. I know also that a lot of people have been pointing fingers on his page and saying stuff. I know that the family at this time would like people to stop doing that because it is causing some damage and stuff with family members. So just keep in mind when people comment on, everybody has their theories, everybody has their suggestions, everybody wants to point fingers, but the bottom line is everybody is innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. And we don't know everything. We don't know everything in the cases. We have to let law enforcement do what they need to do. And also it can jeopardize cases. That's something that I try to point out in every podcast is we have to be careful with our chain of evidence. We have to be careful with the things we're putting out there. We have to be careful on how we react to stuff, and we have to get stuff over to law enforcement because by far they are the ones that are going to be able to push the cases through and get justice if they're needed, but also help them, find their loved ones. That's one thing that you guys will start seeing. I will be putting a disclaimer on my podcast about the fact that, it's okay. I love discussion. We can do discussions and stuff, but just remember that these are discussions. Nothing, some are opinions, stuff like that. But the bottom line is everybody is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. And just be kind to people. I know it's a very emotional time for people. We just need to be kind and be conscientious of the things that we are posting out there. And I believe that a lot of you guys that are on Guardian, as if you guys have always been respectful. I've not had any problems on my page with people being cruel or mistreating someone. So again, if you guys see that, please let me know. But I think you guys have all been awesome about supporting each other, giving good advice, pointing good fact. I think it's good to point out maybe something that you see that maybe someone else doesn't see. So I think that's all great things. But when a family asks people to stop talking about certain individuals because it is causing issues and problems, especially with children, please have enough respect to stop doing it. Like I said, that's not on my page. It was happening on a family member's page that they had put up about their missing loved one. And they would like people to stop doing it because it is causing some harm with the children involved. So The next case is a case that I've covered several times. This is Andrea Michelle Knable. She's the missing persons advocate, missing out of Louisville, Kentucky on August 13th of 2019. She was 37 years old. She is now 41, 5'7", 180 pounds, brown hair and hazel eyes. She does have a scar on her face. She did have blonde highlights at the time that she went missing. She was reported to be last seen by her sister around 1 a.m. walking on foot in the area of the 4000 block of Castle Road in Louisville, Kentucky. She was wearing a light colored tank top, white cotton shorts, and Nike shoes size 8.5. She was carrying a flat white purse in the back pocket and her cell phone. Her phone and wallet have not been located. Andrea has had no contact with anybody or activity on her social media, which is out of the ordinary. Andrea was active as a missing persons advocate at the time of her disappearance. If you have any information regarding Andrea's disappearance or know the whereabouts, please call the Louisville, Kentucky Police Department at 502-574-7114. And I have talked to you guys a lot about the Andrea Knable case, about stories changing. We've got an hour and a half that from the time that her sister had dropped her off at the mom's house and her returning home. That story has changed where it wasn't an hour and a half. It was I dropped her off and I took her back. There's that's going on, trying to get clarification on what is the true factor of the story. There was a cell phone that was found. There's tips that aren't being turned over to law enforcement. I will tell you that anybody that's either an advocate or a private investigator or anything like that, they have turned all leads, tips, and everything over to law enforcement. That is not the individuals that are not turning stuff over to law enforcement. That is one thing that I will tell you. Anything that you guys get, you've got to turn over to law enforcement, because you never know what piece of information, even if it's something tiny and you think, oh, that probably doesn't matter, it could matter in the case. And again, there's individuals out here that are doing stuff. They're not charging families. They're doing what they need, anything to help and stuff. And you need to be kind to those people. But I will tell you, there are some advocates out there that are not out there to help your case at all. So just be careful who you're talking to, who you're sharing information with. Sorry, guys, that's Gideon. That's my kitten. Just be careful, because not everybody out there is in the best interest of you or the case at hand. And if you guys are getting people that are asking you weird questions, trying to get information on your cases that are not people that you're working with, I would definitely always turn that over to law enforcement. Let them know and let them check it out. All right, this next case I shared on my last podcast, I do want to cover it again. This is a very active case. This is Aaron Scott Johnson. He went missing from Birchwood, Wisconsin on October 12th, 2020. He was 34 years old. He is now 37, 5'6", 200 to 220 pounds, blue hair or brown hair, blue eyes. Sorry about that. But he normally does shave his head. He does have several tattoos. His back has 100% honky on it. Front of his neck has a Jesus picture with a crown of thorns on his head. Left eye says 817. Right hand dying in cursive. Left hand breed. Right hand thumb says Amanda. Stomach says Wood. And both arms have full sleeves and different types of tattoos. He may go by the name AJ. He was last seen wearing, as you can see in that picture, a white tank top, blue and gray plaid boxers, muddy socks in the early morning hours of October 11th, 2020, when he was given a ride to a location known as the 6 Mile Corner in Sawyer County, Wisconsin. His truck was parked at this location near the intersection of Highway CC and Highway N as in Nancy. His phone had pinged at 10:15 on October 11th, 2020 in an area 12.6 miles northwest of Ladysmith, Wisconsin. On November 3rd, 2020, his vehicle was recovered at a remote logging road on an extensive search. And an extensive search was conducted. The search located numerous clothing items, including a pair of his pants containing his identification. A citizen had came forward on December 14th of 2020 and stated that he had seen a man matching Aaron's description walking down the road at the same vicinity where the clothing had been located. The man saw him only wearing the white tank top, boxers, and socks, and he asked the man if he needed help. The man stated that he was fine, and it was October 12th of 22 that individual saw him. The citizen did take a picture of the man while he was walking away and gave it to law enforcement. So this picture that you see of the gentleman walking away, it has been confirmed that this was Aaron, that this citizen had saw and had taken a picture and had spoke to him today. So that has been confirmed that is him. Aaron has not been seen or heard from since. If you have any information regarding Aaron's disappearance or know the whereabouts, please call the Rusk County, Wisconsin Sheriff's Department at 715-532-2220. And I should have, I believe, here are closer pictures of all of Aaron's tattoos. So as you can see, he has those full sleeves that have, some skulls. They have crosses. There's some pictures of women. That crown of thorns of Jesus is on there. You can see the writing on his hands and stuff. So he does have multiple tattoos that would be very noticeable if you would come across him. Like I said, his case is very active, and I'm hoping that something will come about and he will be located. You guys are awful quiet tonight. Do you guys have any questions? You guys always can feel free. You guys know to comment or anything. If there's cases out there you guys want to be seen, let me know. Had an individual come to me and ask me to do a flyer for Atul Mahenta, I believe is how you say it, Maheta. He's missing out of Fairfax County, Virginia on October 19th of 2023. He's 53 years old. 5'4", 130 pounds. He does have brown hair, but he does shave it bald, as you can see in the picture. But I do have a picture on his flyer with hair. But like I said, he normally does shave his head bald. He was last seen wearing a green checkered shirt and might have had a beige colored winter jacket when he left his home in the Hernan Reston area. He had his wallet and his phone. They've never, at least they can't find it at the house. They are only items that he appears to have taken with him. His phone has been going directly to voicemail since October 22nd of 2023. So a few days after he went missing, his phone is going to voicemail. He had mentioned recently that he was having some depression, but we do not know if that would be the cause of him leaving or not. But if you have any information regarding Atul's disappearance or his whereabouts, please call the Fairfax County, Virginia Police Department at 703-691-2131. This is another case that I have not seen a whole lot of social media out about and everything, but I know that his family would greatly appreciate if everybody could share his flyer and everything. It is unknown whether or not he got into another vehicle or if he just walked away. There's very little known in his case with his disappearance. This case I came across recently, and I don't know why. I really kind of am drawn to it. This is Flint Flory. He is missing from Bokoshi, Oklahoma on January 11th of 1998. He was 62 years old at the time of his disappearance. He is now 88. 5'7", 180 pounds, brown hair and brown eyes. He does wear glasses, as you can see in that picture. Flint has a tattoo on each of his upper arms. I tried to get the best picture as clear as I can. The picture that I have above him is the heart with the arrow through it, and it does have the initials LI, and the other one is an anchor. Flint may use the name Merritt Juan Brown. Flint has never been seen or heard from again since January 11th of 1998. There's little information on his case. If you have any information regarding Flint's disappearance or his whereabouts, please call the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation, the Southeast Regional Office at 580-298-5525. Again, this is like an older case. I love to see that law enforcement is putting a lot of these older cases out there. I just wish they would put more information out there on there, and they may not have a whole lot of information. So, again, he was a newer case that they just modified in NamUs, and hopefully, with getting the flyer out there and everything, someone will be able to recognize or have some information for law enforcement. This next case I have shared before and I will continue sharing. This is Danielle Roselli Rico. She is missing out of Valley Vista, California on August 21st of 2022. She was 39 years old at the time of her disappearance. She is now 5'2", 140 to about 160 pounds, black hair and brown eyes. As you can see in the one picture, she does have her left arm is disabled. She has a tattoo of her kids' feet on her shoulders, large fairy on her back sitting on a mushroom, and she has tattoos on both of her wrists. As you can see, one is a butterfly. She was living with her boyfriend Chad for the past 2 years prior to her disappearance. However, they had left their home and started living with friends and neighbors in that area. He had reported that she had left with another man. Chad had been using her EBT card after her disappearance, and then it was finally taken away from him by law enforcement. He did sell Danielle's vehicle 3 weeks after she went missing. Danielle was last seen leaving her mother's home with a male named Randy, who has changed his story of where he has left her multiple times. One of the places that he stated was on the top of a mountain where his car broke down, but he never said anything to anyone about leaving her there. She does not have a phone of her own and has not been active on any social media. She may go by the name Layla. Danielle could still be in the Hermit, Bella Vista, or Homeland and Sage, California areas, as well as the Sabota Reservation in Hemet, California. Danielle is missing under suspicious circumstances. If you have any information regarding Danielle's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Riverside County, California Sheriff's Hemet Station at 951-791-3400. Her case, just with all the back and forth stories, the changing our stories, I don't know who leaves someone on a mountain. I mean, that's just preposterous to me that you would leave someone out on a mountain and not say anything to anybody, especially if you got help. I agree, Allison. I hope that she gets found soon. And I agree, it's deflection. I do agree, Billy, with you 100%. I do believe he definitely knows something. I mean, that's my opinion, but it's just there's too much. Like, how do you go someplace with somebody and then not mention where they went? It just doesn't make sense to me at all. So I definitely feel like in her case, people are not being honest. I don't know how you sell someone's vehicle, continue to use their EBT card. I mean, all that stuff to me is suspicious. Yeah, I can kind of see that too. I definitely can see that it could be more than one person, and that definitely could be in a lot of cases that there's more than one person that could be involved in a disappearance. I agree. True. So, I mean, there's that. But, eventually over time, sometimes with groups, people start turning on each other. So maybe, hopefully, if it is a group or something, that someone will come forward and say what really happened. And my whole thing is like, if this was your loved one that was missing or had disappeared under suspicion, circumstances and stuff, wouldn't you want someone to come forward? But I know not all people think the same as I do or other individuals, but it's, I don't know. I just feel like people need to come forward and be honest instead of telling, because they look more and more guilty the more you change your story. It definitely makes you suspect in a lot of ways, and it could be that he, I don't know, left her up there and just didn't say anything for whatever reason. I mean, we don't know what happened. Um, but I still find it weird that you would just leave someone on a mountain. I don't understand that. Or get rid of people's property. That's something else with a lot of cases that people get rid of people's property right away. I've seen cases where people want to get them declared deceased right away, and it just doesn't make sense to me. That just makes you look very suspicious or involved. So they're a state that they have to have a body in order to charge. And that's one thing, like there are states out there that they can arrest people with no body. One thing that I will tell you is it's very, very, very hard for law enforcement and for prosecutors to prosecute someone with no body. But it can be done, because they look at a lot of these cases, unfortunately, especially with adults. Um, they can disappear, and that's okay, and that's their right, and everything. And that's something that I really want to push people to realize that, yes, as adults, we can pretty much do whatever we want to do. However, when you're a type of person that has contact with your loved ones every day, you have jobs, you have children, and just one day you just disappeared, that's not normal. That's not a normal circumstance. When you've had no talk about leaving, that's just not. Billy says California has strict laws. Criminal activity here is unbelievable. I know that California has a lot of crime. There are a lot of missing people. I don't, I think in a lot of cases that those cases are not getting proper looks into their cases and activities in their cases. So hopefully, with the podcast, sharing flyers, getting information out, hopefully that will make some changes. This next case I was asked to do a flyer for. This is Brenda Sue Sicca. She is missing out of Huntsville, Alabama on July 1st, 2017. She was 43 years old at the time of her disappearance. She is now 50. 5 foot, 100 pounds, black hair, and brown eyes. She did have, as you can kind of see in that one picture, she had bangs, and she did have bangs at the time that she disappeared. She does have both of her ears pierced. She was suffering from severe anxiety and depression. She is a veteran, and I'll go into that a little bit more about her story. She does have multiple tattoos. She has a panther on her outer left thigh, a female on her outer right thigh, a moon on her left shoulder, a sun on her right shoulder, and a cross in the back of her neck, which you can see there. So Brenda is a veteran, and she had almost completed her master's degree. So she had been going to school. She had been in the Air Force, and she was struggling with some depression and some substance abuse. She kind of, I believe, got around the wrong crowd. She had had some personal things that had happened to her. And so she had decided to move from Florida to Huntsville, Alabama, and working on making a change in her life. She was working as a bartender and had been in a relationship with a married man named Jim. It is reported that she suddenly moved out of her apartment in the Overlook on Sparkham Drive in July, which was reported that that was paid by Jim. There's no proof that anyone helped her move, despite she had large, heavy furniture. Like she had a very large, heavy bookcase, something that she could not have moved without help. Her family had started getting emails from her saying that she was in Wyoming and was looking forward to seeing them in January. However, the email address was unknown to anybody. It was not her normal email address. No one had ever heard of that email address. And so it has never been proven that she was in Wyoming. The picture of her dog, she did have a dog, and that dog is missing as well as her. And that dog had cancer. I think these are very important things to point out, especially the fact that her dog had cancer. And so she would, could require to have vet visits, or maybe a vet saw the dog. So I think that's important. These are, again, important details that maybe a lot of families don't think about, or even sometimes us as advocates, we don't think about that. But a lot of times these little details can help break open a case. It is unknown what she was wearing at the time of her disappearance. However, she normally wears jeans and rock band logo shirts like a Metallica or an Iron Maiden. If you have any information regarding Brenda's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Huntsville, Alabama Police Department at 259 427 5478. I will tell you guys that there will be an individual podcast on her case a little bit later. It hasn't got complete yet, and still putting some stuff together, but there will be more on her story because there's some information that needs to get out to hopefully get maybe some more insight on what has happened to Brenda. It does appear that there is probably foul play because this, again, was an individual that was close to her family, talked to her family, and again, you know, how can one, she couldn't have moved her furniture. So that's one thing. She has a dog with her that has cancer. So these are just things. Her case is very interesting. So be looking for when that podcast comes up. And like I said, that'll be an individual podcast, but they'll still be the weekly podcast. You are welcome, Billy. Anything that I can do. Sharing is like the big thing that I think can help a lot of cases out, is getting that information shared out there. Here's a case that I shared quite a while back. I've updated his flyer and everything. His sister had came to me probably about a year or so ago about his case. And again, I'm happy to see that he's in NamUs and he's been in NamUs, but it didn't appear that there was a lot out on social media other than what they had been doing. So this is Jared Asher Paulus. He's missing out of New Orleans, Louisiana on October 1st of 2021. He went missing at 36 years old. He is now 38, 5'4", 135 pounds, brown hair and brown eyes. He could have his head shaved. So as you can see, there's some pictures where his head is shaved. There are some pictures where he has hair, but it is short. I do have several pictures of his tattoos. I think I have pretty much almost all of them on here. I will show you guys another slide that does show him a lot more close. On his abdomen, it says Mom Pop. On his back, it says Death Before Dishonor. Chest has a drama face crying and some Chinese symbols. Neck says Catherine. Both arms have names and initials. Right eye has a teardrop. Right hand and fingers have letters and other tattoos on there. Jared was living transient between New Orleans, Louisiana, and Tampa, Florida, so he could be anywhere in between in those areas, or he could be completely not in those areas. He had last spoke to his family in October of 2021. If you have any information on Jared's disappearance or know his whereabouts, please call the Hillsborough County, Louisiana Sheriff's Department at 813-247-8200. And let me pull up that next screen with his tattoos. So as you can see, he does have a lot of different tattoos. He has that cross on his front of his neck. He has that flower on the side of his neck. You can definitely see that chest tattoo. These are all pretty unique tattoos that are out there that, probably nobody else has. So tattoos are definitely something that I encourage. If your loved one has tattoos, you have any pictures, to please get those over, to get those on flyers and stuff, because they are very important. Hi, Allison. How are you? I know you're like dying because you have no internet. You got to love technology. All right. This next case I share every week, and I will continue to share her every week. This is Rebecca Demery. She's missing out of Odessa, Texas on March 1st, 2023. She's 32 years old, 5'5", 190 pounds, brown hair and hazel eyes. She's always wearing that necklace. This is a picture that we did find. I try to get it blown up as much as I can. It's a very unique necklace. It is a one-of-a-kind necklace. It has knotting, but it's in a cross. To me, the knots almost look like little hearts. So it's very, very unique. She does have both of her ears pierced, but she doesn't normally wear earrings. She does have a tongue. Her tongue is pierced as well. And she would always have that gold necklace on. She does wear glasses and has a mole on the left side of her neck. She has a flower tattoo that looks kind of like that picture of the flowers there on her left arm, and a heart design tattoo on her right that is shown in the pictures. She does go by the name Becca. She had last had contact with her loved ones on a daily basis. Rebecca always talked to her loved ones, not just once a day, but several times a day. She was very, very close to her loved ones, and she always spoke to them. They last spoke to her on the phone on February 28th of 2023 when she had called to see if she could get a ride from the hospital. Her loved ones were out of town, so they weren't able to pick her up. She was seen leaving the hospital with someone that day. Becca's loved ones had texted her the next day on March 1st of 2023, and there has been no response from her. She has not been seen or heard from since. She was last seen wearing a long-sleeve gray shirt with a plaited hem, black pants, and gray athletic shoes and with a white sole. She was carrying, as you can see in that picture, that black teal backpack. She was last seen approximately at 3:51 in southeast Odessa. I will tell you that a picture where she is sitting there, that is outside of a hotel room. And it was confirmed that that is her, and that she was sitting outside. And there is a gentleman that she was last seen with. Foul play is suspected in her case. If you have any information regarding Rebecca's disappearance or know her whereabouts, please call the Odessa, Texas Police Department at 432-335-4609. I will tell you that law enforcement has done a lot of searches and not came up with much. They are very much guarding this case. I cannot give out a lot of information of the stuff that I do know about the case, but they are working very hard on getting her located. I do believe that there's several agencies that are involved in her case, and I'm hoping that something will come about in her case soon. You're welcome, Ellen. Anything I can do. I just try to do what I feel that I am supposed to be doing. Not for sure who that is that just said Jello, but hello to you too. So in Rebecca's case, again, this was a case that someone reached out to me to cover, to get her more coverage. And I do see that she's being shared a lot more. And again, I know that these families appreciate everything, every little share, all the support that you can give to them. So please, continue sharing these cases out here. Here is a case, and I put up the wrong screenshot. Here's a case that I don't know if the family's on tonight, but they were on last week, and I had just gotten the case not too long before I went on, so I wasn't done with his flyer and everything, but I did finally get it done. Looking into the case, and his case is definitely interesting in a lot of ways. So this is Jeremy John Trujillo. He is missing out of Rifle, Colorado on May 13th of 2022. He's 47 years old, 5'7", 160 pounds, brown hair and brown eyes. So that is a picture of a necklace. So it does have a bottle in it. And I know some people may misunderstand what that bottle is, but I will tell you that that bottle has his mother's ashes in it. He always wears it. He always has it on. And it is believed that he, had it on the day that he went missing. So that is a very good piece. I was glad that the family had a picture of that to be able to show. So if that necklace comes up anywhere, as you can see, again, that's a unique type piece of jewelry that nobody else should have it. He does have several tattoos. He has praying hands on his left shoulder. He has Mom and Jody across his fingers that has that heart defibrillator with the beads and everything on it, and a spider web on his right calf. Both of his arms have multiple different tattoos. Some are skulls. He does have a very large chest piece tattoo as well, and he does have multiple piercings, as you can see. He does live a transient lifestyle. but he does have regular contact with his loved ones. At this time, he was getting rides to and from, um, I believe, like rehab and stuff like that. So he was making some positive direction in his life and getting help that he needed and everything. Police were dispatched at 9:51 a.m. to the bridge of the South Highway 13 in Rifle, Colorado, with a report that a man had jumped into the river. There have been reports that some people are saying he jumped, and then there are reports that there was an altercation and that he was pushed. There was a restraining order that was active against a female that he had been involved with and had recently threatened his safety and well-being. That individual was present when where he went missing. Police have done some searches that day. However, the reports that shows that they were unable to do water searches because they couldn't get boats in the water because the river was running too fast, and drones due to the weather because it was too windy. If you have any information regarding Jeremy's disappearance or you know his whereabouts, please call the Rifle, Colorado Police Department at 970-665-6500. One thing that I will say by reading the reports on his case is some people said that he was drinking, some people said that he has been sober. So, what I see and what I've read in those reports is there's definitely huge discrepancies in his case. Some people said that he had jumped and then a dog saved him the first time, but then he went and jumped again. But then the reports were like where he supposedly jumped the first time, there was no way he would have ever gotten out of the water safely. There has been that there was possible some some evidence of there was an altercation in that area, and there are people that are confirming that there was an altercation. So many different stories. Like I said, they did do a search, but as far as I know, law enforcement has not been able to do, or hasn't, as far as I know, done like the water searches, being able to put like the sonar in or anything like that. I have not seen anywhere that they've went back to do that due to the fact they couldn't do anything like that that day. They were told that it was too windy and the weather was um, too bad for them to be able to do it. Um, oh, hi, Shelly. Yeah, I finally got Shelly is related to Jeremy. So um, I'm going to keep looking into it. I'll give you guys more information as I find it, as long as it's nothing that can impede on his case. I definitely think that there needs to be more done. I think there needs to be another search in that area. Um, I agree, Allison. I believe that there needs to be more of a search area, especially when someone goes into water. Um, you know, there is a chance that, him going into the water, he still could have gotten out of the water. You just never know. Um, it's I just think that there could have been more done on his case, and hopefully here in the future there will be something more done. I agree, people need to come forward. And okay, Shelly says it's okay to say that that is his sister. I try not to let very many people know the relationships, because I feel like that's something family needs to bring forward, and that's just to protect your guys' identity. But Shelly is Jeremy's sister, and she's been wonderful to talk to, and she's definitely given a lot of good information and stuff. So hopefully we can get something pushed forward. And that's the major thing that I'm seeing right now is like searches. There is a lot of areas um, law enforcement won't let other teams come in and do searches, and um, I I don't think that's right. The sooner you can get a search in, I understand that there are sometimes the weather is difficult, and it's too dangerous to be able to put a boat in the water, or to be able to put the drones up in the air. Um, but searching to me is a must as soon as possible in the immediate area where we know someone has went missing. We need to be searching these areas. And even though it's been over a year, I still believe that that area needs to be searched again. And hopefully that is something that has come across. I did briefly talk to law enforcement in his case, um, but I still haven't talked to the detective yet. But I did talk to somebody else in the case. But again, like I said, I have read the reports. So there's definitely some conflict. Someone on some side is not telling the truth. But one thing that I will say is one person that was in that report had very positive things to say about Jeremy, about the fact that, he was working on bettering his life and having a more stable life and working towards his substance abuse and drinking issues and stuff. And I think that's something that's really important, that even though there are people out there that are homeless and don't have homes, or they have history of drug addiction, they're still human beings and they're still striving. There's a lot of people out there that are working to better their lives and stuff, and they're people. And these people need to be treated just like anybody that has money. To me, money doesn't matter. But I thought that was really great that the other thing about his case is people were saying that he was suicidal. And this one individual that said that he was taken, he's like, I don't believe that he was ever suicidal. I never got that from him. He never acted that way. So you tend to, if someone is out there helping you and they're that positive support, I would tend to probably and again, this is my opinion, I would probably tend to believe that he's probably telling the truth. That he didn't feel like he really was drinking, and he was definitely not suicidal. Yeah, he had personal struggles just like all of us do, but he did not believe that he would ever do anything to put himself in harm's way. And again, there is the ex-girlfriend with a restraining order that had threatened to, like I said, to harm him and severely harm him. It was threats that she would kill him, and then a few weeks later, now he's missing. And again, everybody is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. But these are just things, that are kind of factual information that's out there. And you've got to look at those things. So, again, if you guys could share Jeremy's flyer, I think that would be great. I believe his case definitely needs to be seen more and get out there more. So I know that Shelly and the rest of her family would greatly appreciate any help that they can get to keep his story out there, because he is not in NamUs. And that was one thing I brought up to law enforcement, and they said they weren't going to do it, even though the law says that they have to. But we'll keep pushing, or I'll probably just go ahead and add him into NamUs. But I wanted to check with them first. So that is Jeremy's case. And again, I apologize to Shelly that it took me so long to get his stuff done. But after reading through the report and stuff, it definitely helped get some good information out there on him. And so I'm going to show you guys this real quick. So this kind of gives you a little bit more close up of that necklace that he had, and then also that chest tattoo that he has that you can see. That's a good question. So, what they told me, the reason that they were not going to put him in NamUs is because they had him in the NCIC. However, there's Billy's law that says that law enforcement has to start putting people into NamUs. I don't know. One thing I'll tell you, dealing with different law enforcements, there's some law enforcements that they just absolutely think everything has to be kept in their own little vicinity, and that's just the way it's going to be, and that's how they do it. Then there's other law enforcement that they'll put them in so many databases out there to make sure that they're covered. I had been working with a detective out of Florida, and he had put the individual in so many databases out there. They have their own databases in the state. She was out on NamUs, and she was in NCIC. She was everywhere, just in case his biggest thing was like if another law enforcement agency would come across him or a community member would come across her story. He wanted to make sure that that information was out there in order to get her found, and she was located. I will tell you that she we did get her located, so she has been located, and I thought that was really amazing. And even though he put her in all those databases, the law enforcement agency that came across her still didn't contact the way I guess they should have contacted, and the family was upset. And they got upset at the main detective in her case that I was talking to or whatever. And he said, he's like, I put her out in the databases. He's like, I can't make other law enforcement agencies do the contacting that they should do. But NamUs is big. I would definitely push any of your law enforcement to get them into NamUs. One thing I will tell you is NamUs is backed up. They are getting more and more cases out there and submitted, but I know that a lot of stuff's not getting updated as fast as I would like to see them get updated. But it is in the works, so I do see it a lot more. Here in South California, we found an unidentified body in South Dakota through NamUs that had been sitting there for months. Matched Danielle by description, but it was not her. Yeah. There are a lot of unidentified bodies. In fact, there's a tattoo that's out there that I need to, I did get a flyer, and I think I'm going to go ahead and share it on The Guardian. It is on the unidentified. I know that I've seen that tattoo before, and I would love to see this person be identified. They were found in Michigan, and I know I've seen the tattoo before, and it's a very unique tattoo. I don't believe anybody else would ever have that tattoo, and I would love to see them be identified. But there are so many unidentifieds out there right now, and a lot of them are getting matched up. And that's one thing that I really stress you guys is going out to these unidentified. I have an unidentified page. There are several really, really great unidentified pages out there that are putting up them. I know a lot of those pictures are very, very hard to look at. And that's why I put a disclaimer on my page, because they are hard to look at. Because some of them, they've done facial recognition. Some of them, they are actually, of the person. There's clothing items that are out there. But people are getting on there and they're looking, and I've even had on my page where I've posted something and someone's came up and said, hey, I think it could be this person. And then we submit that on up to NamUs for them to look at, in law enforcement to look at. And there are a lot more getting identified, but there's way too many unidentifieds right now out there and unclaimed. There's even people that they know who they are. They're unclaimed, but they are trying to find next of kin. So NamUs has those three parts. They have the missing part, they have the unidentified part, and they have the unclaimed. And a lot of people that are missing are not, sorry, that's Timo, are not reported missing. So then there's individuals on that account that aren't even reported missing. And there's some great unsolved mysteries. I'll have to look at, again, there's a lady that her platform is just people that are not reported missing. So a lot of like the homeless community and stuff like that, she's been able to locate and identify a lot of people for the law enforcement. I will definitely share her page as well for you guys to look at that. But I would definitely look into definitely getting your cases. And a lot of the cases are out there on NamUs. I agree. And I know that it takes time, getting DNA and stuff. A lot of those cases, you're able to tell if there's DNA that's on file and stuff like that. So when people go missing, it's definitely good to, be able to get that DNA on file. And I will tell you, I mean, we're all human and sometimes things get missed. But if you see any case out on NamUs that you think could possibly be your loved one, you are able to contact NamUs or contact your the person that may be holding the case, whoever agency is, contact them and say, hey, I think this could possibly be my loved one. And they will look into that and, do DNA and find out whether or not that could be your loved one. So that's another resource for you guys. If you have any issues with it, you guys can always reach out to me as well. Also, I know not all law enforcement agencies are up to knowing about NamUs, but it's definitely something when your loved one goes missing. If they're not in NamUs, I would definitely be talking to your detective and stuff and say, I want them put in NamUs. So then that's out there for all law enforcement and everybody to look at. This next case was a case that I came across. This is Kyler Charles Bawa. He's missing out of Atlanta, Georgia on October 11th of 2020. He is 26 years old. He's now 28, 6 foot to about 6'1", 130 to 140 pounds, black hair and brown eyes. One thing that his hair is long, but he may have it in braids or cornrows. He has various tattoos that make a sleeve on his right arm, including a large skull towards his middle of his forearm region. And I tried to get as good as pictures as I could of his tattoos. And I have done several different pictures of his hair long, his hair in cornrows, his hair short, just different types of looks for him wearing a hat and stuff. I try to get different pictures so people can see maybe different looks of them. Kyler was last seen leaving his home wearing a white t-shirt, gray Crocs, and a gray stonewashed jeans in the Wellesley Estate subdivision around 4 p.m. It was previously reported that he had been seen near an intersection of Butner and Union Roads in South Fulton on October 12, 2020. It is reported that he had left his phone and wallet behind. His Facebook is under Ray Stone, and that could possibly be a name that he goes by. He has not been seen or heard from since. If you have any information regarding Kyler's disappearance or know his whereabouts, please call the South Fulton, Georgia Police Department at 470-809-7300 or Crime Stoppers Atlanta tip line at 404-577-8477. This next case is a case that I definitely want to keep out there. This is Kendra Nicole Botello. She is missing out of Enid, Oklahoma on July 5th of 2022. 24 years old at the time of her disappearance. She is now 25. 5'8", 115 pounds, black hair and brown eyes. As you can see in that picture, her hair is short. She does wear multiple wigs. I did post pictures of that on her flyer to show the different looks. She does have both of her ears pierced, and she does have dimples. But just know that she does wear different colored wigs, and her hair is usually short and buzz. She is enrolled in the Muskogee Creek Nation. She does have mental health and substance abuse issues. She was staying at a residence in the 1400 block at West Randolph in Enid. She had been last contacted on the phone to a loved one at midnight on July 7th of 2022. There was a report that she was seen July 20th of 2022 knocking on a door of a house in Pawnee, Oklahoma, and asked for a glass of water. When the individual found out that she was missing, she did report that she had seen her and the Enid police. However, that's never been confirmed that it was actually Kendra. So one thing to know, it is unusual for Kendra not to have contact with her loved ones or be active in social media. Her cell phone goes straight to voicemail. Her social media accounts have had no activity, and her loved ones have not heard from her. A few days prior to her disappearance, there was a bond hearing for her boyfriend at the time for domestic abuse case, which Kendra was the victim. Foul play is suspected in Kendra's case. If you have any information regarding Kendra's disappearance or know her whereabouts, please call the Enid Police Department at 580-242-7000. This again is another case that, in my opinion, a lot more needs to be done. A lot more could have been done. And I feel like, how do I say this that would be appropriate? I just feel like the system has failed her in a lot of ways. And there's been tips that have come in, stuff that's been disregarded. And I just feel like her case needs more coverage. Um, I just feel like she has not been given the proper coverage that she needs to be given. Um, and the system is failing her for whatever reason. Like I said, foul play is very suspected. Her and her boyfriend at the time, there was a very abusive relationship. Um, he is still able to run around and do whatever. Someone has seen her. There's been many different stories that have come out, many different tips, many leads and stuff that have went nowhere. There's been stories that she's not needed, that she could have went to Tulsa. I know the detective told me that he did go down there, and at the time that he was there, he wasn't able to really get far in her case, at least down there. So if you guys could please share Kendra's, I know her family would greatly appreciate it. Um, I will continue to share Kendra and get her hopefully located or something. Someone knows something in her case. Again, you don't just go missing, but there's a lot of pieces in her case um, that I know that some of the detectives have been trying to run down and figure things out. Agreed. I'm not for sure who said that, but I agree. A lot of these cases deserve more coverage, and that was one of the main reasons why I'm doing what I do. Is I don't really cover a lot of high profile cases. I like to cover the cases that no one knows about, the cases that aren't getting coverage, the indigenous cases that a lot of times are overlooked. Um, the less fortunate out there. I believe that every case deserves to have the same amount of work on their case. I believe that they should have the same media coverage on their case. And that's why I'm trying to do what I do. And I think families deserve to be able to have the resources that everybody can get, and get that, pushed on. This next one is Joanne P. Cabanilla. She is missing out of Bellevue, Nebraska on November 10th of 2022. She is 36 years old. At the time of her disappearance, she's now 37. 5'4", 180 pounds, black hair, and brown eyes. She was last seen wearing a blue shirt, blue jeans, gray and green shoes, driving a 2007 Jeep Patriot with a Nebraska license plate UPT 333 that expires in 2023. Her car was later located on November 10th of 2022 near the Missouri River in Bellevue, Nebraska. Her shoes were located at the scene. If you have any information regarding Joanne's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Bellevue, Nebraska Police Department at 402-593-4111. I will tell you, I know that both of those pictures look different, but those are both Joanne. And I think that's another reason to really point out having multiple pictures of your loved ones is, especially if their appearances change or anything like that. I think it's just really good for the multiple different pictures and stuff, because looking at those two pictures, I would not have thought it was the same person, but both of those pictures have been released out by law enforcement. They are the same person. So I would have not, if I saw her, I would have not, either looking at one or the other picture, not the other one, I would have not thought it was the same person, but it is. Hi, Ricky. How are you? Yes, yes, that's my biggest beef. We get no help and awareness from officials, and we should. Some law enforcement agencies, I will say, are great. Some definitely need to catch up with the times, and some are spectacular. I mean, there are some really good law enforcement agencies out there that are just doing amazing things, changing their protocols. One thing, if I do talk to law enforcement, I said it's just the little things, even if there's nothing new in a case, just at least say, hey, there's nothing new, but I wanted to just let you guys know that we're still working on your case. And that was something that one of the detectives said, you know what, I just never think about that because I'm so busy, doing stuff that I never think that, hey, I probably need to take that moment and say something to the family. So I know there's a lot of them out there that are getting more aware, and they are trying to be a lot more compassionate and um, alert to that, even if it's just something brief. Um, it doesn't have to be something major, but just a check in, just that little check in, from what I've heard from families, means the world to them. That's good, Ricky. I'm glad that you're doing good. So I have one more case to do tonight. It is a case that I have covered before, but I haven't covered her in quite a while. But someone had asked me if I would cover her again. So this is Melissa Trumpy. She is missing out of Shannon, Illinois on October 26th of 2021. She was 37 years old at the time of her disappearance. She is now 38, 5'10", 163 pounds, blonde hair, and blue eyes. She does have the following piercings: her nose, upper lip, 3 studs on her right cheek, and 4 on her left cheek. And you can see that in the pictures. She does have multiple tattoos. She has a heart in the middle of her chest, swallow birds with it, left thigh with a skull and other multiple tattoos covering the rest of her leg, right arm with lotus flowers and a koi fish, and on her back with footprints with names and dates. I do have pictures of all those on her flyer. She was last seen in Moreau, Wisconsin, and was traveling to Shannon, Illinois with her boyfriend. She was last seen wearing a black Michael Kors jacket with an unknown colored shirt underneath, blue jeans that had holes, and unknown colored shoes. Melissa and her boyfriend were driving in her silver Toyota Tundra, which was located the next day abandoned on Bolton Road in Stevenson County, Illinois. All of Melissa's belongings were still in the car. Melissa has not been seen or heard from since. It is out of the ordinary for her not to have contact with her loved ones or to be with her children. Foul play is suspected in her disappearance. If you have any information regarding Melissa's disappearance or her whereabouts, please call Greene County, Illinois Sheriff at 608 328 9400 or Greene County, Illinois Crime Stoppers at 800 422 7463 or Carroll County, Illinois Sheriff at 816 244 2633. I will tell you that foul play is highly suspected in her case. They have done multiple searches and stuff. I have heard some new stuff on her case, but I don't know that I should probably let that out yet. I know that a lot of people have been looking at her boyfriend at the time. As far as I know, he is currently locked up still, not in regards to her case at all. There's a lot of theories out there of what happened to her. Her truck was located on Bolton Road, which is also where her boyfriend at the time's dad was found murdered, just a few miles away. Plus, also his best friend lives down that road. Is it a coincidence? Maybe. Could it be someone trying to defer people to look at the wrong person? Possibly. Those are all different things. Some feel like she never left Wisconsin and returned to Illinois. There's just a lot of stuff on her case that is very suspect on individuals that have been looked at and then individuals that are not being looked at. And so with her case, I'm hoping that law enforcement will be able to get the truth of the matter of what really happened to Melissa. Because like I said, foul play is suspected. She wouldn't have left her children at all. She was a caregiver, a very close caregiver to an individual. She would have never walked out of that either at all. So hopefully something will come about. I haven't seen a whole lot being shared about her until recently. They started sharing a lot more again, but I know it had kind of slowed down in her case of people sharing. So if you guys could share her flyer, that would be great. With that, like I said, I do have a couple individual case podcasts that are going to be coming up. It's just working out the times with the families because there will be family members that are on there. Some will be people that are working the case behind the scenes and stuff. So if you have an individual case that you would like to do, I'm more than willing to do it. I have a lot more free time right now. So I am just doing this right now. And so I definitely would like to, I'm hoping to maybe get more podcasts out during the week as well. Um, if you have a case that you've seen that you feel needs to have more coverage, please let me know. If you're a family member and I've done a flyer for you and you have like new pictures or anything that you want put on them, new information, anything like that, let me know. I will definitely, I have no problem changing them. I am, I did not do Dana's case. Sorry, Ellen. I'm going to do Dana's case right now. Sorry. I am working on doing a video for Dana. I have not had a chance to get that done yet. But with my newfound free time, I should have a lot more time to work on these. And I almost forgot Dana's, and I really apologize, Ellen, for that. So this is Dana Jane Bruce. She is missing out of Sedalia, Missouri on October 4th of 2008. She was 23 at the time of her disappearance. She would now be 37. 5'2", 98 pounds, brown hair, green and hazel eyes. She did have red highlights in her hair at the time of her disappearance, and her hair was shorter length, wavy with bangs. She is blind in her left eye. She has both of her ears pierced once. She has a 2-inch scar along her lower spine and a staple scar on her right shoulder. She has a tattoo on her upper left arm of a teddy bear with wings and a banner that says Dylan. She was last seen wearing a black shirt with the word rebel on the front in silver lettering and blue jeans. She had last been seen at the time that originally she had last been seen at her child's babysitter's home where she had left them earlier so she could go out. But she had returned back to that babysitter's home at midnight to give the babysitter some more money and asked her to watch the children the rest of the night. Dana had been seen at Malone's bar. They were having an anniversary celebration there on Main Street with a young man driving a late model red Ford F-150 truck earlier in the night of her disappearance and left with that man at 11:30. This is believed to be the man that was seen when she went to the babysitter's house, supposedly. Police had identified that man that she had been seen with that night she disappeared. He had traveled to Atlanta, Georgia, and the police had questioned the man after he had been arrested on unrelated charges of marijuana possession and driving a suspended license. From what I understand, that he was in some sort of like construction or something like that type of worker, and he was working up in the Sedalia area. He has never been named publicly, but the police have called him a person of interest. He has said that Dana and him parted ways after they had left the bar and he had never seen her again. Dana had left all of her belongings behind. She doesn't have a bank account, credit cards, phone, or vehicle. It is unknown if she had her ID at the time. She was known to be a devoted mother who would never leave or abandon her children. That is, I have not found one person that I've spoken to that has said anything different about her being a devoted mom. She loved her children. She was always with her children. She did, in fact, recently that day, she had signed a lease for a new place for her and her children. I will go into a little bit more, but foul play is suspected in her disappearance. If you have any information regarding Dana's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Sedalia, Missouri Police Department at 660-826-8100 or 660-827-7823 or the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-426-6178 or 866-362-6422. Going into a little bit more detail on Dana's case. Like I said, she had signed a lease that day for a new place for her and her children to live. So why would she take off? Also, the fact that there's another red F-150 pickup that is out there. So if anybody in the Sedalia area knows of another individual that has an F-150 pickup or they allowed someone to borrow that pickup that night, I would be contacting law enforcement. Also, the fact that it is reported that Dana did return back to the bar and she was left with other individuals. And when I say individuals, I mean more than one. And that there was an after party that was at a house and something happened there. And Dana's was removed from that location, wrapped up in a carpet. these are reports. There are people that have been coming forward, making statements. Law enforcement is working on it. Um, Supposedly, the family has a private investigator involved, yet there's no information on how to contact them. If I knew, I'd let you guys know. I don't know if that is fully true. Due to who I have talked to, they don't know if that's true. There was a vigil for her back in October for the anniversary of her missing. I was really kind of sad to see some video from that I felt like more people should have been out there supporting the family, and for Dana, because she is the true victim in this case. With Dana, she definitely was around probably some individuals that were not very savory type people to be around, abusive, stuff like that. But one thing that I'll say is she always was devoted to her children. This is not somebody that would have just walked out of their life. She had contact with her family all the time. Her kids miss her. If there are people that are involved that are close to Dana that is considered to believe that they have more information than what they are sharing, need to come forward. Some of those individuals are incarcerated right now that were some of the last individuals that did see her that night, and were known to possibly be the last known people to see her. Also, that their statements have been founded to be false by law enforcement. So there's a lot of stuff with Dana's case that people need to come forward, because I believe that in her case, again, my opinion, but just from what I've seen and what seen and been told, that I believe that this is somebody that was close to her, or multiple individuals that are close to her that really know what happened to her. And she needs to come home. The biggest thing is whatever those people's opinion was, or if it was an accident that happened, just come forward. Her children deserve to have their mother to come back home to. They greatly miss her, and they don't need to feel like they did something wrong or that their mother didn't love her, because that is not the case in Dana's case with her children. So if you are somebody out there, and I know there are people that are watching the podcasts that are being done on Dana, if you know something, you need to say something. You need to come forward. If you want to be anonymous about it, that's fine. You can most certainly reach out to any of the advocates. You can reach out to me. You can be anonymous and call police or whatever. If you feel like your life is in danger, I understand that. But at this point, somebody needs to come forward. It's been 15 years since she's disappeared. It is time to bring Dana home. And I do hope that someone will come forward on Dana's disappearance, and she will come home. You are welcome, Ellen. I will continue to do everything I can, and I will continue to see what we can do. I don't know who said let's do a show together. Please let me know who that is, because I do not know who that is. But there's a lot with Dana's case. There's a lot with a lot of these cases and stuff. More and more families, which shows great strength, that are ready to really start talking about their cases and stuff. And like I said, again, these are discussions. There's different theories that are out there, but the bottom line is everybody is truly innocent until proven in a court of law. I'm not a judge. I'm not a jury, but these are things that you have to look at. You have to look at all the scenarios. This is what law enforcement has to go through. This is what we as advocates do, private investigators. We have to go through, we have to look at every little piece of information that is out there, and look at it and protect that information. Because I do believe a lot of these cases are foul play. It's just a matter of, again, locating an individual to prove. I think there's a lot of law enforcement in some of these cases. I will not say which ones. I feel like law enforcement is getting very, very close to solving some stuff out. Also in Dana's case that I want you to know is Ricky Chabugi. He is the founder of Kansas Missing and Unsolved, and he actually always has covered Dana's case. But unfortunately, his podcast has been, I don't know, suspended for a little bit. He is looking to get that going again. And yes, Ricky, you know, I will always do a podcast with you. And he is letting you guys know that you can reach out to Kansas Missing Unsolved with Tiz and Dana, and I'll keep them anonymous as well. And Ricky is an amazing advocate. I try to share his stuff as much as possible. I miss his, he does really good with flyers. He was my mentor. He definitely is one of the most humble people I've ever met. And he is such a solid advocate for the missing. He does help and work with law enforcement to get information over to them, to get flyers out for them. He's just an amazing person, and I hate to see that his podcast is not going. So definitely, Ricky, if you want to do podcasts, we most certainly can do the Kansas Missing Unsolved. Allison is telling you, hi, Ricky. Hi, Desmond. Let us know. He's wonderful. He has been such a great support. Ellen says, thank you, Ricky. Like I said, he had been sharing her podcast every week. And then when his podcast ended abruptly, he had her aunt reach out to me, and that's why I am sharing Dana's case every week. Hopefully with my free time that I have, I'm thinking about, I've got some other ideas to keep everybody's flyers to be out regularly. Allison right now, it has been amazing. Like, she is my guru on doing stuff that I just don't have time to do. But she has definitely been working hard doing reels. I do have an Instagram for Guardian. I did finally get that done. Allison has been harping me to do an Instagram for probably a year. I did finally get it done. So if you're on Instagram and you want to join Guardian, go ahead. I haven't got on TikTok yet and stuff like that. But Allison is a really good resource on getting stuff out. She has over 60 pages that we both run together on top of Guardian and all that. So your guys' flyers are going all over the place. They're getting put in reels, they're getting put in videos, they're getting put in TikToks, not to mention the flyers themselves going around. So just know that if you see it just posted on Guardian or Kansas Missing Unsolved, those flyers are going everywhere across the nation, and some are even going out to Canada. Some go to, are going to Mexico. That I see flyers out everywhere. Some are on Pinterest. I didn't even know you could be on Pinterest. You could put flyers on Pinterest, but they're on Pinterest. I will tell you that Ricky and my flyers have made it on NamUs. Came across that law enforcement have used our flyers on NamUs. That's another thing. You guys can send the flyers that we do and ask them to put them out on NamUs, so then the flyers are out there as well. So yeah, Ricky is a good person. Like I said, Kansas Missing Unsolved. He does Missouri Missing and Unsolved, and he has the Kansas Homicide and Unsolved. Is that Unsolved Homicide? Kansas Missing and Unsolved Homicide page as well. Ricky too is not just limited to doing Kansas and Missouri cases. He will do any case out there if you want him to. In fact, we have a few flyers that we both have flyers out on. JP's case, Dana's case, one of the cases that we did, Jared's case, we both have those out there too. So if you have any unsolved homicide cases or anything like that, I don't touch unsolved homicide flyers. I let Ricky do that. He's really good at it. So definitely, if you need flyers, then just let us know. Please reach out. Hopefully we will be moving forward and doing, Ricky and I back doing some podcasts together and getting information out there for you. Yep, I will definitely do that. I will get Danielle's case out there. I'm not a real big Instagram or TikToker either. Oh, and Ricky also has a Twitter page, which I don't have a Twitter page. But so there's several different platforms that all of us post on and have. So just so you guys know, rest assured that your case information is going all over the place. So again, I appreciate all of you guys. I will be doing more podcasts. Like I said, I have came upon some free time right now. So I am going to be more focused on the missing person stuff and being able to do a lot more with you guys' stuff. So God bless you guys. I hope you guys all have safe holidays and happy holidays. I know this is really hard because you are missing your loved ones, but know that they are always in my prayers. You guys are always in my prayers, and have safe travels, and don't eat too much turkey because you guys will be taking naps. And God bless, and I will see you guys. Maybe I might try to squeeze out another podcast this week. I might surprise you. You're welcome, Billy. Anything that I can do for you, you have a great night. God bless you guys. And if you need anything, let me know.